What's going on, all you gamers? Here we are in Cyberpunk 2077, and today we're going to be going over some of the lore and the backgrounds of the factions or gangs in Cyberpunk 2077. So if that interests you, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, all you gamers. So as per the results of the last few days, where I said would anyone like to see kind of backgrounds and a little bit more details on some of Cyberpunk 2077, there was an outstanding vote for the hell yes. So with that, we're going to dive into some of the backgrounds of the gangs in and around Night City today. Now first off, as always, if you'd like to become part of the Sofa Squad for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, and some other fun hints, tips, guides, and more things such as this, then hit that subscribe and bell icon. And if you like this content, why not give it a little thumbs up and share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. But for now, we're going to start this off, and we're going to kick it off with the Maelstrom. So the Maelstrom gang, based in Northside, this gang is chocked full of cyberware and violence. They run illegal operations like improvised surgery rooms, unlicensed brain dance recording studios, and storage full of all manner of stolen goods in abandoned warehouses or buildings or wherever they can manage to chuck it. Maelstrom members are pretty much renowned for their intense use of cybernetic implants, and this can be seen most frequently after fighting them or during fighting them. When in combat, you can see that they actually bleed kind of organic materials, so white and yellow blood or oil, whatever kind of fluid it is, as opposed to the normal red. Now these members worship cyberspace and the occult and have no qualms in completely disfiguring their bodies if they feel like it gives them some kind of advantage or an edge. Now while they believe that this amount of cyberware helps them transcend their flesh, Night City residents pretty much class them as psychotic and terrifying and try to avoid them at all costs. The Mocks. The Mocks are, in most part, a collective of, how shall we say, adult workers, like friends with benefits, but they kind of charge money. They are primarily based in Kabuki and was forged after the death of Elizabeth Lizzie Borden, the owner of the famous, or infamous, Kabuki-based brothel Lizzie's. Lizzie Borden was well liked rather than revered or feared by her staff and fellow peers. Lizzie made sure that both her staff and her clientele were treated with respect and looked after accordingly. However, after some Tiger Claw gang members raped one of her employees, Lizzie took revenge on them and had them killed. In an act of reprisal for her actions, the Tiger Claws murdered Lizzie and completely destroyed her club. From this, the Mocks became united, and rather than the usual hierarchy, they instead stand united to make sure of their mutual survival. The Tiger Claws. The Tiger Claws are primarily based in Japantown and are most proficient in melee weapons, most notably that of the katana. They are notorious for the love of fast motorcycles, sharp blades, and the tattoos that they bear. Tiger Claws, because they are quite melee based, often do not like smart weapons aimed at them, and sometimes you can see this as their cyberware makes such weapons completely null and void, as they seemingly bounce off of what seems like force shields, or some kind of generated shield through their cyberware. Now, the Tiger Claws have their fingers in almost all of Night City's nightlife, ranging from gambling houses, fighting arenas, and even brothels and brain dance clubs. Tiger Claws have a strict code of conduct which is seen a lot more the higher up the hierarchy goes. Valentinos. The Valentinos operate mainly in the Glen, but do branch out to other Hayward sub-districts. Of all the factions, they are the ones with the most prominent bling, as they show off their shiny, often silver and gold implants, guns and pimp rides, as well as kind of extrovert tattoos that blend Catholic and Mexican religion and folklore. The Valentinos are deeply rooted in Hayward, and they have a secret pact that kind of unites them with the community, where the loyalty of its citizens also means that they are protected by the very Valentinos that occupy their neighbourhood. 6th Street. Sixth Street is patriotism itself. Its morals and focus are purely based around patriotism. This can be seen by its frequent use of stars and stripes from the flag in its images. The members are a mixed bag of vigilantes and war veterans, and they are mostly based in Arroyo and somewhat Rancho Coronado. The Sixth Street do not actually consider themselves as a gang, and they were formed originally to remove gangs and unwanted corporations from their own turf. This meant arming everyone they could, including the neighbours, with the means to fight them, and forming a kind of militia. Now, while the Sixth Street see themselves as noble patriots, all others kind of just see them as another gang, ready to enact violence and crime. Voodoo Boys are the most mysterious gang in Night City. Their mystery is only superseded by their distinctive traits that they all tend to carry, and that is their never-ending pursuit of knowledge and net running. They are believed to be on a quest to uncover the secrets of the old net as they attempt to breach the Black Wall and make contact with rogue AIs that are on the other side. The Voodoo Boys are not above gang activity though, and fund their operations via criminal activities such as cyber hacking, freelance net running, and even drug dealing. Their nemesis is the Netwatch Corporation, and whilst they themselves believe they are on a somewhat mystical journey for knowledge, others see them as mainly fulfilling a fool's errand, searching for something that does not exist. Animals. Where do we start with the animals? What they lack in brains, they more than make up for in brawn, and the gang's use of custom bio-augmentation is renowned. This allows them to bulk muscle and become devastating at hand-to-hand brawling situations. To this extent, they are often used as muscle for situations, and in one-on-one they are unmatched and very often come out on top. As well as their sheer size, they practice many fighting techniques such as boxing and martial arts, that combined with their physical bulk and strength enhanced by their cyberware makes them formidable foes. This in turn leads them to often be hired as personal bodyguards or bouncers. Animals do not have a so-called home turf, as most other gangs do. Instead, they tend to freelance the entirety of Night City and go wherever the work is. In turn, this is most frequently South Pacificus and its fighting arenas. The Docados. This nomad faction mainly operates in the West Coast region, but remains mobile and moves their caravans from time to time from one state to another. Currently they operate out of Eastern Badlands. Some members of the Docados faction choose peaceful activities such as farming or manual labour, whilst others choose more criminal and lucrative means such as smuggling. Whenever possible, the Docados choose to stay in the Badlands and the outskirts of Night City, rather than actually engaging in turf wars and fighting within the city itself. The Docados value their members and very much class them as family. And finally, we have the Wraiths. Wraiths are a subgroup of Wrath and Shiv. They are a rural gang that targets any prey they can overwhelm. They are renowned as unreliable and are not a highly trained faction like many of the others. As such, they are more like highway thugs that pick off stragglers or those that they know they can overwhelm or defeat easily due to them being weak. Due to their disorganisation and lack of general skills, they are not often sought after by city clientele, so often have to rely on their own means to make ends meet. Right, all you gamers, so that's pretty much the first part of our little bit of backstory or lore on Cyberpunk 2077. If you enjoyed it and if you'd like more, then let me know in the comments and hit that like button. As always, I hope you've enjoyed. Take care. I'll see you on next day.